Feldy, Hale, and Olson. One right-hander and two left-handers in the top half of the first inning. Today's umpires here in Tempe: behind the plate, Tracy Hart; at first base, Geraldine McGuire; and at third base, Reed Clayton. So Mejia, the right-handed slinger, steps into the circle for some early softball today. With rain in the forecast, we were expected to be out here at Farrington for a 7 p.m. first pitch, instead a 12 p.m. first pitch, but looks like we'll get started before we even hit noon. And the first pitch from Mejia finds the strike zone on the inner half, and the count 0-1. The first pitch of today's game, 11:56 a.m. here in the Valley of the Sun. Not so much today, and the count 0-1 to Shannon Feldy. He winds and fires. This one right over the plate, and quickly 0-2 to the left fielder. The center fielder, Morgan Howe, shifted slightly to her right, our left. And it looks like there's a little bit of an issue. Sounds like there's been some music playing through the first couple pitches of today's game. And it looks like one of the ASU players might have left a phone plugged in, playing some music during pregame. The count 0-2 as it sits to Shannon Feldy right now. And now it looks like we're set for the third pitch of the at-bat for Shannon Feldy. As Mejia gets the sign, checks the wristband. The leadoff hitter, Feldy, shows bunt, pulls it back. The 0-2 from Mejia. Outside, just a bit, in the count 1-2. One ball and two strikes to the leadoff hitter, the left fielder Shannon Feldy, righty hitter, before Mejia will face off with two lefties. The 1-2 from the right-hander. Line drive towards the shortstop. Gortares makes the snag and can't make the throw to first base. It pulls Chapman off the bag at first, and the leadoff hitter, Shannon Feldy, is aboard. And now Riley Hale comes to the plate. The leadoff hitter aboard on first base in the form of Feldy. And they'll call that a throwing error on the shortstop, Gortares. First pitch to the lefty swinger, Hale. Squares to bunt, couldn't get it into the field of play and fouled it off into the backstop, and it's 0-1. For ASU, that's their sixth fielding error of the season, or rather a throwing error at that. Their sixth defensive error of the early 2019 season. And it allows the left fielder, Feldy, to reach first base safely. The 0-1 to the lefty hitter, Hale, squared to bunt, pulled it back. The count evens, 1 ball and 1 strike. And Serena, we talked before about how this Illinois State team had really struggled to put the ball in play. They've struggled to manufacture runs, but even though it's not a hit, it's an error, and it puts a runner on first base to start the first inning. 1-1, couldn't get the bunt down.
If she could get the ball in play right now, I think it's going to do confidence. It's going to bring up the confidence for Illinois.
1 ball and 2 strikes. It's a lefty hitting right fielder. Hale will step back in. An 091 hitter so far this season, but an opportunity. A 1-2. Comes a roller down the third baseline, snagged by Becerra, but out of play, and the count holds at 1-2. Game number 6 for both of these teams, as Mejia will check the wristband, step back into the circle. Deal the 1-2 to Hale. Ripped right towards the first baseman, Chapman. She snags it and then steps on first base. For the double play, they get Feldy The runner on first base, and Hale out on the line drive, and there's two down here in the first inning. And now the base is empty for the lefty-hitting shortstop, Emmy Olson. Serena, just like that, the opportunity for Illinois State to potentially try to manufacture some runs in the first inning against a fantastic defensive team in ASU is no more. The first pitch to Olson on the outside corner for strike one.
And that's very unfortunate. I mean, you see, she can do nothing really right there on the base running because of how the ball was hit.
Yeah, great contact right toward Chapman. Unfortunate circumstance for Feldy. 0-1 pitch to the shortstop, Olson. She fouled it off in the count 0-2. Mejia has jumped ahead on all three Illinois State batters here in the first inning. And now ahead in the count 0-2 against Olson. Trying to face the minimum in the first inning, despite having Feldy reach on an error. The 0-2 lifted up over the ASU third base dugout and out of play. Nobody on and 2 down for Olson, a 143 hitter on the season. But has popped a home run for 1 RBI so far here in 2019. The 0-2 pitch from Mejia. A bit high and outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Smaller crowd on hand today here in Tempe after the first pitch moved from 7 to noon. Now the 1-2 to Olson. Lifted over the third base dugout again and out of play, and the count holds 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nobody on, 2 outs, 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Mejia steps back into the circle to transfer to ASU, leading an all-new pitching staff for the Devils. The 1-2 to Olson. Inside on the corner, strike 3 called looking by the home plate umpire Tracy Hart, and Mejia faces the minimum in the first inning after allowing Feldy to reach base on an error. And we go to the bottom half of the first inning. Kendra Hackbarth, Skylar McCarty, and Morgan Howe, 3 lefties to lead things off for ASU in the bottom half of the first inning. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and nobody left on base in the top half of the first inning for Illinois State. And now Kendra Hackbarth, Skylar McCarty, and Morgan Howe will get things started for the Sun Devils of Arizona State in the bottom half of the first inning. 3 lefties will bat here in the bottom half of the first, and then Danae Chapman, Maddie Hackbarth, Jade Gortares, all righties. Back to the lefties with Acuna, Loomis, and Becerra to wrap things up. First pitch to Kendra Hackbarth, fastball inside, a ball and no strikes. Morgan Day, the right-hander for Illinois State in the circle today. A 6.60 ERA on the season, and with the windup, the 1-0, fouled off by Kendra Hackbarth off the netting behind the plate. The count levels at a ball and a strike. Day 0-2 so far this season, 4 games, 2 starts. 11 2/3 innings of work here in 2019 thus far. For 8 strikeouts, hasn't walked a single batter. through those 4 outings thus far. 1-1 to the right fielder, Hackbarth. On the outside corner, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hackbarth is one of those consistent hitters that you mentioned before the first pitch today, Serena. She hits .429 through the first 5 games. 4-1 opening record for ASU as she fouls off the 1-2 to stay alive. .429 average for the ASU right fielder through the first 5 games, and a pair of RBIs to go along with it. Hackbarth awaiting the 1-2 pitch. And the right-hander Day winds and fires the 1-2. Ground ball towards the second baseman, fielded by Vanderpool over to first for the first out of the inning. The defensive alignment for the Illinois State Redbirds with Day in the circle. And behind the plate, Annie Bories, that completes the battery. At first base is Allison Spence. At second, Taylor Vanderpool. She just made the play for the first out of the inning. Third base, Andrea Corsi. At short, Emmy Olson. That rounds out the infield as the lefty swinging left fielder, Skylar McCarty, digs in for ASU with 1 down. First pitch, fastball fouled off in the count 0-1. Completing that defensive alignment for Illinois State, Shannon Feldy starts in left, Alyssa Weeble starts in center, and Riley Hale all the way out in right field. The leadoff hitter, Hackbarth, down on the 4-3 putout, and now the 0-1 to McCarty. Fly ball into right field. Hale charges in and makes the grab. 2 up, 2 down here in the bottom half of the first inning. And now Morgan Howe. And now Morgan Howe with the second highest batting average on the team, just behind the number 2 hitter, Skylar McCarty. And how she continues to thrive in these early season tournaments, hitting .500 the first 5 games. First pitch, lined it foul over the third base dugout in the count 0-1. Serena, we mentioned in the top half of the inning that Samantha Mejia had jumped ahead early in counts on the Illinois State batters, and now Morgan Day is doing the same to the first 3 ASU hitters. She fires one just outside. The count levels a ball and a strike. Hackbarth and McCarty down. And now the 1-1 pitch on the way from Day to Morgan Howe. 1-1. High fly ball into deep left field, hooking towards the corner, and it just sails foul. The count 1-2 to the center fielder, Morgan Howe. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 down, nobody on here in the bottom of the first inning. 1-2 pitch from Day to Howe. Fastball inside below the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 3 straight wins for ASU since their 8-0 loss to the Missouri Tigers in the Kajikawa Classic. That was just their second game of the season. Now trying to get going here in the bottom of the first. The 2-2 upstairs, and the count is full to the center fielder, Howe. The first 3 hitters for ASU, all hitting above .425. Howe hitting .500, but with nobody on and 2 outs. The payoff pitch to the center fielder. Upstairs for ball 4. Day jumped ahead of Howe early in the count, but couldn't finish it off. And the number 3 hitter aboard for ASU, and with 2 down, it's the first baseman, Danae Chapman. One home run, 5 RBIs, .364 batting average for Chapman through 5 games here in 2019. Now a speedy runner aboard. First pitch, inside and low. 1 ball and no strikes. ASU's only attempted 3 stolen bases so far this season. They are perfect with all 3, and Morgan Howe is one of them. 1-0 to Chapman, swung on and missed on a fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Chapman, the first righty in the ASU batting order today. The runner on first, 1-1. Fastball inside, swung on and missed. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Two strikes on Chapman and 2 down. We'll see if Howe opts to be aggressive at first base. It's Chapman waiting the 1-2 pitch. Day delivers. Fastball swung on and missed, strike 3. She walks Morgan Howe, but then sends Danae Chapman down on 4 pitches. The Sun Devils strand a runner on first base. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 runner left on, and we go to the top half of the second inning. Scoreless here in Tempe. Allison Spence, Andrea Corsi, and Ellie Weltha to bat for the Redbirds in the top of the second. We go to the top half of the second inning here in Tempe. Allison Spence, Andrea Corsi, and Ellie Weltha to bat for Illinois State here in the top of the second. Spence, a streak of 3 consecutive lefty swingers for Illinois State. She'll lead off the inning. As Mejia back out into the circle for ASU. Scoreless here in Tempe between the Redbirds and the Sun Devils. Mejia starts off Spence just a bit outside, and the count 1-0. It's the first time through the first now 4 hitters that Mejia has issued a first pitch ball. Allison Spence, second best hitter on this team at least through 5 games. Another outside pitch from Mejia, and the count 2-0. The Redbirds' offense up to this point through 5 games really being carried by Spence and the on-deck hitter, Andrea Corsi. It's a 2-0. Bit outside, but pulled towards the right side of the infield. Bella Loomis over to first. And a 4-3 putout for out number 1. And now Andrea Corsi comes to the plate with the team's best batting average at .417, with 1 down here in the top half of the second inning. Mejia making relatively quick work of the first 4 batters. Now a ground ball towards the third baseman, Becerra. She couldn't handle it, and Corsi is aboard. We'll see how they score this. If it's an error on Becerra, it'll be the Sun Devils' second of the game. Now Now Corsi aboard at first base. With only one down as Ellie Weltha steps in, looking for her first hit of the season, and she fouls off the first pitch, 0-1. He faced the minimum in the first inning. 0-1 to Weltha. Low but good for strike two, and it's 0-2. First two pitches to Allison Spence, the leadoff hitter, were both balls before inducing a ground out. Corsi reached first base after just one pitch, and now Weltha down in the count 0-2 against Mejia. Pitch from the right-hander, just a bit outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. It scored an error on the third baseman, Taylor Becerra, and through 2 innings, ASU with 2 errors here against Illinois State for their 6th and 7th of the season. And the 1-2 popped up over the first base dugout, out of play, and the count holds. One ball and 2 strikes to the right-handed designated player, Ellie Weltha. 0 for 10 on the season through 5 games, looking for her first hit. She's got a runner on first base in the form of Corsi. The 1-2. Rise ball upstairs, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two balls and 2 strikes. Pitch to the right-hander, Weltha, lifted over the first base dugout and out of play. Weltha battling here against the right-hander Mejia. The runner on first base. Shows bunt, and she'll pull it back. The 2-2. Fastball inside, popped up behind the plate and out of play. 3 consecutive pitches fouled off by Weltha. With another base runner here for Illinois State. 2 runners have reached today. Feldy, the leadoff hitter, in the first inning, and now Andrea Corsi here in the second, both reaching off of errors. The 2-2. Fastball outside, throw down to first base. They can't get the runner at first, but the fastball on the outside corner is good for strike 3, and Weltha's retired for the second K of the day for the right-hander Mejia. And now 2 down for the center fielder, Alyssa Wiebel. A home run and 6 RBIs to her name through 5 games. Comes to the plate with Corsi on first. 2 down here in the second. Starter pitch from Mejia. Breaking ball drops in low. 1 ball and no strikes. For ASU in the bottom of the second, it's Maddie Hackbarth, Jade Gortares, and Yanni Acuna. Before we get there, the 1-0 to Wiebel. Fastball lifted into left field, playable for McCarty. Gortares, the shortstop, backtracks and hauls it in for the final out of the inning. No runs, no hits, 1 error on the Sun Devils, and 1 runner left on base as we go to the bottom half of the second inning. Still scoreless here at Farrington Stadium in Tempe. Scoreless as we go to the bottom half of the second inning here at Farrington Stadium in Tempe. Hi again, everybody. Josh Schaefer, Serena Perez with you on Pac-12+. Maddie Hackbarth, Jade Gortares, and Yanni Acuna here in the bottom of the second inning for ASU. Hackbarth leads it off, and the first pitch is a fastball inside, 1 ball and no strikes. Maddie Hackbarth, a .438 hitter through the first 5 games. Already 3 long balls and 10 RBIs. 1-0. Below the knees. 2 balls and no strikes to the catcher. Already 2 defensive miscues for ASU today, but it hasn't come back to bite him yet. Both runners stranded at first base, or one stranded at first, the other doubled off on a double play. The 2-0 to Hackbarth on the inside corner, 2 balls and a strike. Hackbarth with the 3rd highest batting average on the team, behind McCarty and Howen, just ahead of her twin sister Kendra Hackbarth. It's a 2-1, swung on and missed, strike 2. Count levels, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hackbarth leading off the inning, followed by Gortares and Acuna. Stay takes a glance toward the dugout. Now the wristband. Right-hander in the circle, the 2-2. High and inside, and the count is full to the catcher, Maddie Hackbarth. The Devils left a runner on first base in the first inning. Morgan Howe worked a walk and was stranded there. Payoff pitch to Hackbarth. High fly ball into center field. Weeble backtracks slightly and tracks the ball in center field for out number 1. Hackbarth gave it a jolt, the best contact we've seen from an ASU hitter so far today, but again, only 5 batters in. And now Jade Gortares comes to the plate with 1 down. Gortares, the shortstop. The first pitch from Day. Nubbed towards the second baseman over her head and into right field for a 1-out base hit for the shortstop, Gortares. She sees 1 pitch, and it's the Devils' first hit of the day to put a runner on first base for the left-handed designated player, Yanni Acuna. Acuna, left-handed swinging freshman. Now with the runner on first base to work with, and a fairly quick runner at that. And Gortares, 1 for 1 while trying to swipe bags so far this season. The Devils are 3 for 3 as a team. First pitch to Acuna. Upstairs, 1 ball and no strikes. Acuna, the left-handed hitting freshman. She bats as the DP today for ASU. 385 through 5 games, 9 RBIs. Her first hit was a home run. The 1-0, line drive into right field and just goes foul. Ripped it past the first baseman, Allison Spence, and fouled off down the line. 1 ball and 1 strike. Didn't take too long, but it did take a couple of games for Acuna to leave the yard. Brings a lot of pop to the ASU lineup. A 1-1 to Acuna. Fastball low and outside. There goes Gortares. The throw down to second base. Skips away from the shortstop, Olsen, and Gortares will hold up there. Swiped bag for Jade Gortares, her 2nd of the season. The Devils' 4th as a team. And it puts a runner in scoring position for Acuna with only 1 down. The 1-1, or the 2-1 rather. High and outside. 3 balls and a strike to the freshman Acuna. A runner already in scoring position. The second baseman, Bella Loomis, waits on deck. A 3-1 offering from Day. Line drive down the left field line and foul. 3 balls and 2 strikes. It started to sprinkle a little bit here in Tempe. This is kind of when you fold down the screen on the laptop in front of you in the press box when the windows are open. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The runner on second, the payoff to Acuna. High fly ball down the left field line. It'll go foul towards the ASU bullpen. The count holds steady at 3-2. Acuna was ahead 3-1, but fouls off a couple pitches, and she's in a battle now. A freshman from Tucson coming up to the Valley of the Sun to don the maroon and gold. Payoff pitch with a runner on second. This is just outside to put runners on first and second base for Bella Loomis. And now the sophomore Loomis, starting second baseman for ASU. She'll come to the plate, a lefty hitter with a .333 average on the season. She's knocked in 1 run in the first 5 games, and now a good opportunity to find her second, maybe even her third. The first pitch, good for strike 1. Taylor Becerra waits on deck. 1 down. Gortarez on second after the base hit and the stolen base. Acuna worked a 1-out walk. The 0-1 to Loomis, squared to bunt, popped it up behind the plate, and the catcher Boris unable to get there in time. The runners will have to return to their bags. The count 0-2 to the second baseman Loomis. Gortarez on second, Acuna on first, 1 down. Day's 0-2 offering to Loomis. Fastball inside. Held the bat back, and the count 1-2. Loomis, a staple in the middle of the infield last year for ASU as a freshman. Now in year 2, an opportunity to bring home a run. The 1-2. Outside, Boris the catcher snags it, but can't stop the runners from advancing. And now 2 runners in scoring position and a 2-2 count for Loomis. The rain getting a little bit heavier here in Tempe. A nice play by the catcher Boris. Annie Boris starts behind the dish today and reaching out to snag that pitch from Morgan Day, and that probably denies a run. Speedy Gortarez, she might have tried to test it. 2-2, upstairs on the rise ball. 3 balls and 2 strikes. It's the 3rd full count of the inning for Morgan Day. She induced a fly out from Hackbarth on a full count, then walked Acuna. We'll see what she does here with 2 runners in scoring position. And the payoff pitch to Bella Loomis. Popped up over the third base dugout, over the grandstands, and out of play. Three balls and 2 strikes, 1 down. 2 runners in scoring position. The next 3-2 offering to Loomis. High and inside. Back-to-back walks issued by Day. And that loads the bases for Taylor Becerra. A timeout called by the Redbirds. They'll want to talk this over. The Sun Devils, the 4th ranked team that Illinois State has played in a row. And now Becerra comes to the plate, a .273 hitter on the season through the first 5 games. No RBIs thus far, but now here's an opportunity. As now head coach Melinda Fisher wants to come out and chat with her right-handed arm Morgan Day. Serena, in a situation like this, if you're Melinda Fisher, what are you saying to try to calm down your pitcher?
Just to worry about the batter. Don't worry about the runners on base. Just focus on the batter and let your defense do their job.
Now Taylor Becerra with an opportunity to knock in her first run or runs of the season. A .273 hitter. She's been huge for ASU the last couple of years. Anchoring down the hot corner. Starting third baseman today for the Devils. And now the base is loaded with Cortares on third, Acuna on second, and Bella Loomis on first. Sarah digs in. First offering. Upstairs on the rise ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Rain starting to come down a little bit here in the bottom of the second inning. Some fans have taken out their umbrellas. 1-0. This finds a strike zone. Becerra held the bat back, and it evens 1-1. Becerra has that quick step run-up approach to the pitch. Watch for it here in the 1-1. Lines it over the third base dugout and out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Sun Devils threatening. The base is loaded and only 1 out. Becerra at the plate, and the top of the order looming for ASU. Day gets a sign from the dugout. The infield in. The 1-2 to Becerra. Line drive into left field, and it goes foul. The count holds steady. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and home plate umpire Tracy Hart's going to need to get a couple new softballs here. Becerra battling down in the count. One ball, 2 strikes, 1 down. Becerra. The base is loaded in the 1-2. Line drive down the third baseline. It's a fair ball. 1 run will score. No, it's a foul ball. The third base umpire, Reed Clayton, seemed to hesitate a little bit, but the home plate umpire, Tracy Hart, made the call. Looked like it might have just skipped over the bag or maybe just to the left of the bag. And the count holds 1 ball and 2 strikes. The base is loaded. The next 1-2 offering for Morgan Day. Ground ball towards the third baseman and foul once again. And if you're Andrea Corsi, the third baseman, you've got to be ready for this, especially with the approach by Becerra. Now, 3 straight foul balls, or make that 4 straight foul balls down the third baseline or left field line. And she's encroaching a bit on home plate over there at the hot corner. One, 2 to Becerra. Line drive up the middle for a base hit. 1 run scores. Acuna around third base, and she scores. And the Devils lead it 2-0 here in the second inning, as Taylor Becerra brings home her first and second RBIs of the 2019 season. Cortares scores from third with ease. Acuna, quick wheels around the bag at third. She scores from second. Loomis idles at second base, and Becerra, the Sun Devils' second hit of the game, she brings in 2. And it's 2-0 ASU here in the second with only 1 down, and now back to the top of the order for Kendra Hackbarth. Hackbarth steps in, first pitch, off speed upstairs, 1-0. Hackbarth with her second at-bat of the day. Led off the ball game for the Devils. A ground out to second base sent her down, and now 1-0 from Day. High fly ball down the left field line. It's fouled towards the ASU bullpen. 1 ball and 1 strike. Steady light showers here in the desert today. The 1-1 to Hackbarth. Swung on and missed for strike two, and it's 1-2. The rain doesn't seem to be too much of an issue right now, but maybe a little bit more over the course of the game. So the game was moved from a 7 p.m. first pitch to a noon first pitch. We actually got started here at 11:56. 2-2 rain in the forecast. The 1-2 ground ball past the dive of the first baseman Spence and into right field. Loomis scores from second base. Becerra holds up at third. And it's an RBI double for Kendra Hackbarth down the right field line. And ASU leads it 3-0 here in the second inning. Loomis comes home from second. Becerra with wheels will have to hold up at third base after a nice throw from the right fielder, Hale. Hackbarth brings home her third RBI of the season. And now Skylar McCarty still with two runners in scoring position. First offering to the left fielder, swung on and foul tipped into the glove, 0-1. Becerra on third, Kendra Hackbarth on second. Morgan Howe waits on deck, and Skylar McCarty, who leads the team in batting average at the plate. 0-1, squared to bunt, pulled it back after the inside rise ball, and catcher Boris will have to look the runner back to third. 1 ball and 1 strike. Still two runners in scoring position with only one down. The 1-1, McCarty takes a pitch upstairs and skips away from the catcher Boris, but Becerra can't make a move. 2 balls and a strike. Three runs on 3 hits so far this inning. As Melinda Fisher comes out of the dugout once more. A couple players in the Illinois State bullpen glance toward the infield. And it looks like this might just be an equipment issue and not a pitching change. The pitcher, Morgan Day, tried to scrape the cleat in the dirt. It looks like the dirt getting a little bit muddy in the infield after the steady rain we've had really since the beginning of the inning. Looks like they're just trying to clean that off. This is usually not really an issue in the Kajikawa or Littlewood Classics. A lot of teams, especially from the Midwest, will come out here to the desert to play here in Arizona and get away from some weather to come out here for clear skies. Maybe a little bit of warmth, but so far for Illinois State, we're told yesterday that the game was being pushed up to 12 from their initial 7 p.m. first pitch. Now they get here just to see a little bit more rain. Becerra on third, Hackbarth on second. The 2-1 popped up over the third base dugout and out of play. The count levels 2 balls and 2 strikes to the left fielder, Skylar McCarty. McCarty, the ASU leader at the plate thus far, hitting .538 to the first 5 games. 2 home runs, 6 runs knocked in. 2-2, bounces outside, and the count is full. It's the 4th full count of the inning for an ASU hitter. Day struggling a bit here in the second. Payoff offering to McCarty. Ground ball towards the second baseman. Grabbed by Vanderpool. Throw to first base. Nearly pulled the first baseman off the bag. But they get the out at first base. But McCarty does her job. Brings home Taylor Becerra. And the Devils lead 4-0 here in the second inning. It's out number 2. But it brings home a run. And now Morgan Howe, who reached base on a walk last inning, comes to the plate with still a runner in scoring position. It's Kendra Hackbarth, 60 feet away from a 5-0 lead. First pitch, off speed, nearly got Howe to chase after it, but finds a strike zone nonetheless, 0-1. Now the lefty hitting center fielder, the 0-1. High fly ball cracked into deep center field. Weeble backtracks on the warning track and makes the grab, crashing into the wall in center. And that will end the inning. Howe jolts one to deep center field, and Weeble makes the grab. That does it for the second inning. But not before the Devils plate 4 runs on 3 hits. And ASU takes a 4-0 lead into the top half of the third inning here in the desert. Four 0 ASU as we resume action here at Farrington Stadium in Tempe. Annie Boris, Taylor Vanderpool, and then back to the top of the order for Shannon Feldy for Illinois State here in the third inning. The Devils with 4 runs on 3 hits in the bottom of the second inning. But defensively, the Devils have committed 2 errors already through the first 2 innings. See how that carries over into the third. And the first pitch from Samantha Mejia upstairs. Ball 1 to Annie Boris. A throwing error from Gortaras in the first inning allowed a runner to reach, and a fielding error by Taylor Becerra in the second. But neither runner advanced past first base. 1-0 to Boris. Upstairs, threw the hands out over the plate, but pulled the bat back, and the count 2-0. The Devils' 4-run inning started off by base hit to right or up the middle for Taylor Becerra, bringing home her first 2 RBIs of the season. A 2-0 popped up right to Becerra for out number 1. Vanderpool comes to the plate, the second baseman, for her first at-bat of the day. 1 down, nobody on. Righty Vanderpool, the 5th consecutive righty hitter for Illinois State. 100 hitter on the season for a home run and 2 RBIs. The first pitch, grounded hard, foul towards the ASU dugout. 0-1. ASU and Illinois State back in action for the rest of the weekend. the 2019 Littlewood Classic. 0-1. Popped up behind home plate. 0-2. After today, the Devils will face off with Florida, Central Michigan, Utah State, and San Diego. In that order, over the course of the next 3 days. 0-2 offering to Vanderpool. Just a bit outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Devils play Florida tomorrow at 7 p.m. here at Farrington. Central Michigan on Saturday at 2 p.m. and then Utah State at 1:30 on Sunday, San Diego at 4 p.m. on Sunday. 1-2 to the second baseman, lifted into shallow left, or not even out of the infield as Gortares tracks it. Sounded good off the bat. Gortares took a few steps back and then in. And the pop out to the shortstop marks the second out of the inning. And now 2 down, back to the top of the order for Shannon Feldy. ASU's Friday opponent, Florida. They've already played against Illinois State this season. As Feldy digs in, first pitch low for ball 1. It's been a rough start to the season for Illinois State. 0-5 to start 2019. They've lost 3 consecutive games to top 20 opponents. A 4th straight contest against a ranked team against ASU today. 0-1, high and outside. 2 balls and no strikes. 2 down, nobody on, top of the third for Feldy at the plate. Florida took down Illinois State a couple days ago. 2-0, inside, ripped down the left field line and foul. 2 balls and a strike to the left fielder, Feldy. Two balls, 1 strike, 2 down. The offering from Mejia. Fastball ripped down the third baseline and a blooper into left field for a base hit. The first knock of the day for Illinois State, and Feldy reaches for the second time today. It's a 2-out base runner for Riley Hale. The first hit of the day allowed by Samantha Mejia, and it comes here in the 3rd inning. And for Feldy, that's her 2nd hit of the season. First offering now to Riley Hale. High and outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Mention the rest of the 2019 Littlewood Classic. We won't be back out here again until Saturday for the Central Michigan ASU game. And then here for both games on Sunday against Utah State and San Diego. The 1-0. Popped up behind the plate and looked like she lost her bat as well. Slipped right out of the hands of Riley Hale, and the count 1-1. One ball and 1 strike to Riley Hale. She lined out to the first baseman Chapman back in the 1st inning, and Chapman was able to quickly turn around and dive back to first base to double off Feldy. A 1-1. Fastball outside, and it's 2-1. Two balls and 1 strike to the 091 hitting right fielder Hale. Shows bunt. The runner on first, she'll pull it back to 2-1. High and outside for ball 3. Corner infielders, even with the bag, now maybe even stepping a foot in front of the bag on either side. Gortara the shortstop and Loomis second back to their normal spots. The 3-1 high and inside and off of the elbow pad. Looked like what they're saying that it went off the knob of the bat. And that she didn't try to get out of the way. Either way, it's ball 4. And now Hale is aboard. The first walk of the day issued by Samantha Mejia, and that brings Emmy Olson to the plate with runners on first and second. The film in the forms of Hale and Feldy, respectively. Olson down on a looking strikeout in the first inning. That wrapped up the inning in the first pitch. Rise ball high and outside, 1-0. Feldy on second after ISU's first base hit of the day. The 1-0 drops in for strike one. Count evens, 1 ball and 1 strike. Hale on first after the walk. Mejia here in her third inning of work, allowing 1 hit and issuing 1 walk thus far. 2 strikeouts, both of them looking. And Olson was the first of the 2. Now a high fly ball into deep left center field. McCarty backtracks and makes the grab a few feet in front of the warning track to end the inning. Olson with a drive to left, but not far enough. They strand 2 runners on base. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 runners left on. And we go to the bottom half of the third inning for Danae Chapman, Maddie Hackbarth, and Jade Gortara due up for the Devils. They lead it 4-0 here in Tempe. Four 4-0 Sun Devils as we go to the bottom half of the third inning. After Illinois State, it's their first hit of the game in the top of the third. They strand 2 runners on base. And now Chapman, Hackbarth, and Jade Gortara here in the bottom of the third. The first offering to Chapman. High fly ball down the right field line, and it goes foul into the Illinois State bullpen, and it's 0-1. Morgan Day is done. The right-hander goes 2 innings, allowing 4 runs, all earned on 3 hits, walking 1, striking out 1. And now Ali Domkuski comes into the game, another right-hander. She'll face off with Chapman in the 0-1. Rise ball upstairs, 1 ball and 1 strike. One and 1 to Chapman. She struck out in the first inning. Line drive up the middle, off the glove of Domkuski, and deflects right to the second baseman Vanderpool, who finishes off the play. Chapman down for the second time today. The leadoff hitter down, and now Maddie Hackbarth to the plate with 1 down. Ali Domkuski enters today's game with 2 1/3 innings of work in 3 outings so far this season. This is the first pitch to Maddie Hackbarth. A little bit too high, and the count 1-0. She's walked 3 batters this year, struck out 1 in those 2 1/3 innings. Her last outing coming against the Arizona Wildcats back on the 9th. 1-0. Looper towards the second baseman. Scooped up off the 1-hop by Vanderpool and over to first. 2 quick outs here in the 3rd inning for Ali Domkuski. Back-to-back 4-3 putouts toward the second baseman Vanderpool. And now the shortstop Jade Gortares. It's the first hit and run of the day for ASU. Also swiped her second bag of the season, and that was last inning. Now nobody on, 2 down. First pitch from Domkuski. Upstairs, 1 ball and no strikes. Illinois State has already faced off with the Arizona Wildcats, the Sun Devils' bitter rival from down south. Fell to the Wildcats back on February the 9th. Domkuski pitched 2/3 of an inning. 1-0. Gortares takes it just over the shoe tops. 2-0. Getting those 2 outs, 2 quick outs for Domkuski. Retired the first and only 2 batters she faced. 2-0 to Gortares. The rain had stopped for the top half of the 3rd inning, but now light showers again. 2-0 to Gortares. High and outside. 3 balls and no strikes. We'll see how aggressive Gortares is here. She'll take it low and inside. And a 4-pitch walk to Jade Gortares. She's reached for the 2nd time today in 2 plate appearances. And a walk issued by Domkuski. And now Yanni Acuna comes to the plate. Walked last inning. Advanced to second on a wild pitch. Came around to score on the 2-run base hit by Taylor Becerra. A runner on first and 2 down for Acuna. Lefty freshman digs in the first pitch. She takes a strike, no swing, and the count 0-1. Kind of a tough situation for Ali Domkuski. She doesn't come into the game mid-inning and inherit any runners, but she does inherit a 4-run deficit and will try to keep things even for as long as she can. The offense gets going. Ground ball towards the first baseman. It is a foul ball picked up by Spenson. She stepped on the bag, but Acuna trots back to the plate. An 0-2 count and a runner on first. We'll see if Gortares opts to be aggressive again. She swiped a bag last inning. Her 2nd stolen base of the year, the Devils' 4th as a team. We'll see what Gortares opts to do here with 2 down. Big bat of Acuna at the plate, 0-2. Popped up in the infield. Towards the left side, the 3rd baseman, Corsi, calls off the shortstop and hauls it in for the final out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and Jade Gortares stranded on first base. And that does it for 3 innings here in Tempe. We go to the top half of the 4th inning. Heart of the order upcoming for the Redbirds. It's Allison Spence, Andrea Corsi, and Ellie Weltha here in the desert. 4-0 Sun Devils here at Farrington. 4-0 Arizona State as we head into the top half of the fourth inning. Heart of the order looking to get something started for the Redbirds here in Tempe. Allison Spence, Andrea Corsi, and Ellie Welfa here in the fourth inning. Samantha Mejia back out into the circle for inning number 4, having walked 1 and given up 1 hit through 3 thus far. The first offering to Spence, just outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Spence, Corsi, and Welfa, the 3 to come to the plate in the second inning for Illinois State. Spence grounded out to second to lead off the inning. Corsi reached on an error. Welfa struck out looking. 1-0. High and outside, 2-0. Corsi would not advance past second base. Weeble popped out to the shortstop Cortara's to end the inning. The 2-0. It's a fastball on the outer half. 2 balls and a strike to Allison Spence. First baseman with the second highest batting average on the team, along with a home run and 3 RBIs. Just behind Andrea Corsi, who waits on deck. 2-1. Popped up. Out of play over the third base dugout and the grandstand. Count levels, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Little bit of a breeze here in Tempe. Seems to be blowing from right to left across the diamond. 2-2 pitch, high and inside. Sky down the right field line. Hackbarth gives chase and a sliding effort unsuccessful. Gets up cleanly. Is great effort from the right fielder Hackbarth to go after it. 2-2 the count to Spence. Rain continuing to come down here in the Valley of the Sun, but not so much today. It seems to ease up a little bit when the Redbirds are batting. 2-2. High and outside. The count full to Allison Spence. Rain stopped, or at least lightened up in the top half of the third, and started coming down more in the bottom of the third. Now eases up in the top of the fourth. 3-2. Ground ball. Comebacker up the middle. Snagged by Mejia. The throw to first base for out number 1. She had a little bit of time. Fired it right after grabbing it. Chapman had to extend for it, but it's still good for out number 1. Now Corsi with 1 down and nobody on. Corsi reached on a fielding error by Becerra back in the second inning. Takes a ball low and in, 1-0. Corsi smacked a hard ground ball towards the left side of the infield. Becerra got a glove on it, but ball deflected off the glove up into the air, and she couldn't get to it in time to try to make a throw, allowing Corsi to reach, but she wouldn't advance past first base after Welfa and Weeble went down in order. 1-0. Got on an off-speed pitch, and it's 1-1. One's across the board. A 1-1 swung on and missed 1-2. A ball, 2 strikes, and 1 down here in the top of the fourth inning. Just 1 hit today, and that came from Shannon Feldy. Right-handed hitting left fielder back in the third inning. Illinois State struggling to manufacture an offense here. It's the 1-2. Corsi fouls it off to stay alive. Just gets a piece of it. ASU with all 4 of their runs in the second inning. Other than the second, Devils haven't really threatened too much, leaving runners on first base in the first and third. But both of those runners, Howe and Gortares, both issued walks. Hard ground ball towards the second baseman. Loomis gobbles it up over to first for out number 2. Four hitters have reached base for Illinois State. 2 defensive errors, a walk, and a hit. Feldy has reached in both of her appearances, and now the DP Ellie Weltha. But now Maddie Hackbarth calls time and will trot out to the circle to chat with Samantha Mejia. Nobody on, 2 down. The first offering from Mejia. Low and away, 1 ball and no strikes. Weltha struck out looking in the second inning. It's the second strikeout of the day for Mejia, with looking K's in the first and second. None since. But now in her 4th inning of work, still yet to allow a second hit or a single run. The 1-0. Popped up in the infield. Gortares, the shortstop, trots in just outside the circle and makes the grab to end the inning. 3 up, 3 down here in the top of the 4th inning, and the Devils will take a 4-0 lead into the bottom half of the 4th. The 8, 9, and 1 hitters in Loomis, Becerra, and Hackbarth when we come back. Allie Domkuski out for her second inning of work here in the bottom of the 4th inning. She'll face off with Bella Loomis, Taylor Becerra, and Kendra Hackbarth, the 8, 9, and 1 hitters respectively, all 3 lefties, as Loomis worked a walk back in the second inning and scored a run and now lifts one into center field. The center fielder Weeble stumbled and will charge in and make a diving catch in center field. An acrobatic play for the center fielder Weeble after taking a few steps back on the fly ball and then having to charge in, stumbled in the wet grass and now being checked out in center field. Loomis retired after just 1 pitch. And an outstanding grab by the center fielder, Alyssa Weeble. It's not great to see her down, especially after she made an outstanding play like that. And it all kind of stems from stumbling when she took the few steps back in the wet grass. And a quick adjustment. After it looked like her left foot was taken right out from underneath her. She looks to be all right. It's the right fielder Hale and the left fielder Feldy both walk with her back to center field, and she looks to be all right after an outstanding grab to retire Bella Loomis. And now Taylor Becerra. A 2-run base hit in the second inning got the scoring started for ASU. Our first and second RBIs of the season. Now nobody on. One down, the first pitch to Becerra. This is low and outside, 1-0. Four-run second inning. Started by Becerra with the bases loaded. 1-0. Low and outside again. Same spot from Domkuski, and it's 2-0. Two balls and no strikes to the lefty hitting infielder. 2-0 this one on the inside corner. 2-1. We talked about that approach earlier from Becerra, taking a few steps forward in the box. Turned out to be fairly effective back in the second inning. The 2-run base hit into center. 2-1. On the outside corner, and the count levels 2-2. Domkuski came in to relieve Morgan Day as the right-hander worked 2 innings, allowing 4 runs all earned on 3 hits, walking 1, striking out 1. A 2-2 from Domkuski, just fouled off as Becerra gets a piece of it to stay alive. Two and 2 to the .273 hitting third baseman. She's been great defensively for ASU the last 2 years. Struggled at the plate a little bit last year, but already hitting .273 here in 2019 and off to a good start. 2-2, fly ball into center field. Weeble charges in. She's not going to get to this one, and it bounces over the glove and all the way to the wall. Becerra around second base, and she will dive headfirst into third base for her second hit of the game. Looks like it'll be a base hit and then an error by the center fielder, Weeble, but Taylor Becerra is 2 for 2 through the first 4 innings here in Tempe. Now a speedy runner on third base for Kendra Hackbarth. And back to the top of the order for ASU. And Hackbarth 1 for 2 today with an RBI knock in the second inning. Part of that 4-run inning. She brought home Loomis, and now she can bring home Becerra. Fastball outside, 1-0. The base hit from Becerra scored just that. A base hit, and then advancing all the way to third on the air by the center fielder. 1-1 to Hackbarth as she fouls one off. One's all across the scoreboard here in Tempe. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. 1 runner on in the form of Taylor Becerra at third base. Becerra was 3 for 11 entering the game. 2 for 2 today. 1-1. Bounces in low, 2-1. Hackbarth, a .429 hitter. Their third RBI of the season coming in the second inning. Quick on the base paths. 2-1 from Domkuski. This one finds a strike, so no swing from Kendra Hackbarth, and it's 2-2. Skylar McCarty waits on deck. The runner on third, 1 down, and the 2-2 pitch on the way to Kendra Hackbarth. The 2-2. Low and away. And another full count for an ASU hitter. Becerra on third after the base hit to center field, and then advancing to third on the air. A 3-2 to Hackbarth. Line drive up the middle, past the dive of Vanderpool and into center field. Becerra will score from third base, her second run of the day, and Kendra Hackbarth with her second hit and second RBI of the ballgame It's 5-0 Sun Devils here in the fourth inning. And now Skylar McCarty, she had an RBI bounce out in the second inning. She led the team in batting average entering today's game, but still looking for her first hit of the afternoon. Now the speedy Kendra Hackbarth on first. The first offering lined down the left field line and foul towards the ASU pen. 0-1. The Devils lead at 5-0 on 5 hits, but have committed 2 defensive miscues in the process. Getting 1 helper from the center fielder Weeble here in the fourth inning. 0-1. McCarty takes it upstairs. 1-1. Domkuski checks the dugout, then the wristband. Delivers a 1-1. Off speed on the inside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hackbarth has attempted just 1 stolen base this season and was successful. She idles on first base now. A run already pushed across this inning. The 1-2. McCarty with a chopper towards the right side of the infield. Vanderpool charges in, flips to first for 1. And then Spencer looks a runner, Hackbarth back to second. For the second out of the inning. And now Kendra Hackbarth in scoring position for Morgan Howe. Second ground out to second base for McCarty today. But now Morgan Howe to the plate. 0 for 1, worked a walk in the first but was stranded there. Fly out to center field in her last at-bat back in the second. Gave it a ride, but not far enough. First pitch to the center fielder. Outside, 1-0. Howe with an opportunity to extend the Devils' lead with Hackbarth in scoring position. But 2 down here in the bottom of the fourth. Already a 5-0 ASU lead. The 1-0. Inside ground ball towards the second baseman. Fielded by Vanderpool and over to first base for the final out of the inning. Vanderpool continues to be tested at second base, but hasn't faltered one bit just yet. The Devils push across 1 run on 2 hits. They strand 1 runner on base in the form of Kendra Hackbarth and 1 error by the center fielder, Weeble, after a fantastic diving catch by the center fielder to get the first out of the inning. But nevertheless, the Devils push across 1 more, and they take a 5-0 lead into the top half of the 5th inning here in Tempe. Five 0 Arizona State to start the top half of the 5th inning, and Alyssa Weeble After making a nice diving play to rob Bella Loomis of a base hit in the 4th, she'll lead off the 5th and take a fastball low and in, 1 ball and no strikes. Mejia back out for her 5th inning of work. Up to this point, no runs allowed. Walked 1, allowed 1 hit, and struck out 2. As she retired, Illinois State in order in the 4th inning. She's an off-speed pitch. Finds a strike zone, 1 ball and 1 strike. Michaela Santa Cruz warms up in the Arizona State bullpen. It's a 1-1. Swung on and missed, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Redbirds bats haven't really been able to get anything going today or through their first 5 for that matter, but now a high fly ball into left field. Stays in the park and goes foul. Weeble has a home run already this season. Just a 167 hitter, but a home run and 6 RBIs in the first 5 games. Leading off the 5th inning, down in the count 1-2. Mejia into the windup in the 1-2. Low and away for ball 2, 2-2. Line drive just out of the reach of the third baseman Becerra and fouled down the third baseline. Count holds 2-2. The rain has stopped. The slight breeze moving from right to left across the outfield continues to blow, and the 2-2 ripped down the left field line again and foul. Weeble battling. She's made a couple nice contacts here against Samantha Mejia in the leadoff spot here in the 5th inning. Square to bunt and then pull it back right here. 2-2. This one goes the opposite direction over the first base dugout and foul. Two balls and 2 strikes to Weeble, the center fielder, that error last inning, which ultimately allowed Becerra to score. The 2-2. Fastball high and away, 2-2, or 3-2 rather. She popped out to the shortstop to end the 2nd inning. Stranded Corsi on second base, or on first base rather. After Corsi reached on an error by the third baseman Becerra. The 3-2 from Mejia. Swung on and just fouled off by Weeble to stay alive. Devils back in action again tomorrow against Florida. There's another top 10 opponent for Arizona State. It's a top 15 matchup here in the Littlewood Classic. Game tomorrow night here in Tempe. Payoff pitch to Weeble. Fastball in on the hands, but she fouled it off to stay alive again. Weeble having herself a nice at-bat here. Looking to finish it off. A chance to get on first base. She fell down in the count, continued to work, and now another full count pitch on the way from Samantha Mejia. The next payoff, line drive, past the dive of the third baseman Becerra and down into the left field corner. McCarty has some trouble with it. It will be a stand-up double for Alyssa Weeble and the 2nd hit of the day for the Illinois State Redbirds. It's the second time today that the leadoff hitter has reached base. First time since the first inning when Feldy reached on an error. And now a runner in scoring position for Illinois State for just the second time today. Feldy worked her way into scoring position last inning, but was stranded on second base. And now Annie Boris, still looking for her first hit of the season. She's 0 for 3. Takes a strike. The count 0-1. Was 0 for 2 entering the game. Today's starting catcher Annie Boris popped out to the third baseman Becerra in the third inning, and now Wiebel on second base. 0-1. High and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Taylor Vanderpool waits on deck. Nobody down and a runner in scoring position for the Redbirds. 1-1. On the outer half, 1-2. It's just the second hit of the day allowed by Samantha Mejia. Feldy with the first in the third. Wiebel with the second on a 2-bagger here in the 5th inning. Both those hits down the left field line. 1-2. Rip down the left field line and foul into the corner. The count holds it 1-2. Wiebel with a fantastic at-bat that resulted in a full count. Double down the left field line. And now Boris with a couple foul balls down the left field line as well. One-two from Mejia. High fly ball into left field. McCarty gives chase. That's down for a base hit. Wiebel around third. Gortaras with the throw to the plate, off target and not in time. And the Redbirds are on the board. Back-to-back hits for Illinois State, and it's 5-1 Sun Devils here in the 5th inning. Wiebel and Boris both double into the corner. Back-to-back doubles. And now the second and third hits of the day for Illinois State. And the Birds are on the board. And now Taylor Vanderpool steps in with a runner on second. First pitch is upstairs from Mejia. And it's 1-0. Fouled off towards the ASU dugout. 1 ball and 1 strike. Back-to-back doubles from Wiebel and Boris here in the 5th inning. Samantha Mejia has been fantastic up until this point. They're allowing back-to-back hits, still nobody out. And the 1-1, high and inside, 2-1. We'll see how she responds here to a little bit of adversity here in the 5th inning. Mejia steps back into the circle, and the 2-1 pitch to the second baseman Vanderpool. High fly ball into left field. This one playable for McCarty, and there's the first out of the inning. Boris can't do anything. She'll idle on second, and now back to the top of the order for Shannon Feldy. The only Redbird to reach base twice today on an error in the first inning, and the first hit of the day for the Redbirds in the 3rd inning. First pitch to Feldy, low and in, just over the shoe tops, and it's 1-0. The runner Boris on second base. An 0-5 start to the season for Illinois State, and they've lost 3 straight games to ranked teams. The 1-0 to Feldy. on the outside corner, 1-1. 3 straight games against ranked teams, their 4th today. Entering today's game, they were outscored by those 3 ranked teams by a combined score of 35-5 in the South Florida tournament. A 1-1. A low and away 2-1, but now still trailing by 4 runs. Getting a run on back-to-back doubles to left field here in the 5th inning. Maybe that's the start of something for Illinois State. Something to look forward to and get themselves some momentum, not only for this game, but for the rest of the Littlewood Classic. 2-1, line drive down the third baseline and just foul. A couple feet to the right, and that could have plated one more. Instead, it's a foul ball, and the count's 2-2. The right fielder, Hale, lefty hitter. She waits on deck. 0 for 1 today with a walk. Boris, the runner, on second. Mejia steps back into the middle of the circle. Into the windup. 2-2 to Feldy. She chased after it. She poked it down the right field line for a base hit. Boris holds up at third base, and now runners on the corners for the right fielder, Riley Hale. And Shannon Feldy is 2 for 2. Feldy 2 for 3 rather, but reached all 3 times she's come to the plate today with the error in the first and base hits in the 3rd and 5th innings. And now Boris on third, Feldy on first, and the first pitch to Riley Hale. Fastball high and away, 1-0. It's the 4th hit of the day for Illinois State, their 3rd of the inning. Up to this point, up to that last batter in Feldy, their first 3 hits all into left field. Nice play by Feldy, try to stay alive, poked it into right field. 1-0, popped up towards the shortstop, Gortarez. She'll haul it in with ease. There's 2 down here in the 5th inning, but still runners on the corners. A run already pushed across. And now Emmy Olson. Runners on the corners trying to plate at least one more here in the 5th inning. Trying to get the Redbirds right back into the game. With the exception of the 2nd inning, the Redbirds have been in it the entire time. First pitch high and outside, 1-0. You take away that 2nd inning, and this is a 1-1 game. And it was a bad inning defensively for Illinois State. The Devils scored 4 runs on 3 hits in that 2nd inning. The defense, for the most part, has not been bad at all. 1-0 on the outside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike. Since coming into the game defensively for Illinois State, Ellie Domkuski, she's worked 2 innings, allowed 1 run. It was unearned on 2 hits. Gets you up to 5 on the day, but now Illinois State with their 4th. The 1-1. Chopper towards the left side. Becerra charges in and scoops it up in foul ground. Just to the left of the foul line down toward third base, and the count 1-2. Olsen, a 143 hitter, entered the day 2 for 14 at the plate with a home run. It was good for an RBI. Runners on the corners, 2 down. The 1-2, poked into left field, down for a base hit. Olsen brings home 1 more for her 2nd RBI of the season. Boris scores from third, and it's 5-2 Sun Devils here in the 5th inning. 2 runs across here in the 5th inning. And now the Redbirds with a little bit more life here in Tempe. Feldy cruised into second. Olsen into first with her first hit of the day and her 3rd of the season. Five hits for Illinois State, 4 of the 5 to left field. Ground ball foul down the first baseline from Allison Spence, and it's 0-1. She's 0 for 2 today with a couple bounce outs in the infield. One to the second baseman Loomis, one to the pitcher Mejia. A .333 hitter on the season with a home run and 3 RBIs. Feldy on second, Olsen on first, the 0-1. Ground ball, past the first baseman, Chapman into right field. Feldy rounds third base. She'll score without a throw. Here comes Emmy Olsen, the throw to the plate cut off, and the Redbirds are right back in the ball game. Allison Spence with a 2-run double down the right field line. And the Devils lead by just 1 here in the 5th inning. And they've done all of their damage by slicing line drives down the line or poking them over the heads of the corner infielders. And Illinois State is now within 1, and it looks like both teams will make a couple of changes here. For Samantha Mejia, her day looks to be done, and a pinch runner upcoming for Illinois State. Emmy Olsen with some speed, the shortstop after her RBI base hit to left. She tore around 2 bags and came home to score on the 2-run double from Spence. And that brings Illinois State back within 1, and it's 5-4 here in the top of the 5th inning. The 2 teams trade 4-run innings. And we'll get a pitching change and some pinch runners when we come back. It's 5-4 Sun Devils here in Tempe. The Redbirds are right back in it at Farrington Stadium. Back to 5th inning action here at Farrington Stadium in Tempe. Andrea Corsi comes up to the plate with a runner on second base, and it's a rise ball upstairs, 1-0. The new pitcher for Arizona State, Cielo Mesa, she comes into the game in relief of Samantha Mejia. She lasts 4 2/3 innings. A 1-0. The runner with a quick lead off of second base, that's Allison Spence. The count levels 1 ball and 1 strike. Mejia leaves the game after 4 2/3 innings of work, allowing 4 runs, all earned on 6 hits. She walked 1, struck out 2. Now Cielo Mesa, the 1-1 pitch, finds the strike zone, 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count to Corsi. She's 0 for 2 today and reached on an error. That was back in the 2nd inning. Bounced out to second last inning. Now the speedy Spence on second base. The Redbirds within 1. 1-2 pitch from Mesa. Line drive past the third baseman Becerra, but foul. Mesa, the right-hander. He transferred from Long Beach State. Redshirt junior right-hander from Fillmore, California. She enters the game with already a couple outings so far this season. She's worked an 8.56 ERA. She's 1-1 on the season with 2 starts in 3 games. 9 full innings of work. 1-2 pitch to Corsi, high and inside. She ducks out of the way of it, and it's 2-2. Up to this point, Mesa with 2 strikeouts and 4 walks through her 3 outings thus far. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. A 1-run game here in Tempe. The Devils lead 5-4 and a runner on second. 2-2 to Corsi. Popped up and just out of play over the third base dugout. Count holds 2-2. Ellie Weltha waits on deck, and then after that, Alyssa Wiebel. She led off the inning. Corsi, the 8th batter of the inning. 4 runs already across on 5 hits. The 2-2. Fastball low, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Spence on second after the RBI, or the 2-run double. Payoff offering to Corsi. Fastball line drive towards the shortstop, Gortares, and she hauls it in with ease. The inning is over, but not before Illinois State gets themselves right back into the game. 4 runs on 5 hits, and the Sun Devils will take a 1-run lead into the bottom half of the 5th inning here in Tempe. For ASU, Danae Chapman, Maddie Hackbarth, and Jade Gortares in the 5th inning when we come back. A new pitcher for Illinois State as we go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. As Mac Leonard, the right-hander, comes into the game to relieve Allie Domkuski. After Domkuski was the 2nd pitcher of the day for the Redbirds, she lasted 2 full innings, allowing 1 run. It was unearned on 2 hits, walking 1, striking out none. And now Chapman will lead off the bottom of the 5th inning for ASU. First pitch high and inside for ball 1. Chapman, Hackbarth, and Jade Gortares, the heart of the order for ASU, the 3 right-handers in the lineup for ASU. The Devils' lead has been minimized to just 1 run. Fastball low, 2-0, after a 4-run 5th inning by Illinois State. Mac Leonard, the freshman right-hander from Normal, Illinois, she comes into the game, and Chapman just fouls one off in the count, 2-1. Up to this point for Leonard, 7 2/3 innings of work, allowing 14 runs, 10 of them earned, walking 4, striking out 2 for a 9.13 ERA. The 2-1, fastball low and in, 3 balls and a strike. Leonard's last outing last weekend on the 10th against the Michigan Wolverines. Went for an inning, allowed 2 runs, only 1 of them earned on 3 hits. Struck out 2. 3-1. High fastball fouled off by Chapman. And the count full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Chapman 0 for 2 today with a strikeout. Hackbarth, who waits on deck, 0 for 2 today. And then Jade Gortares, who's 1 for 1. With a walk, a run scored, and a stolen base. Payoff offering from Leonard. Fastball low and in, swung on and missed by Chapman for her second strikeout of the day. Both of them swinging. And there's one down here in the bottom of the fifth inning. For Chapman, that's her fifth strikeout of the season. The first out of the inning, second time she's led off today. And now Maddie Hackbarth, who's 0 for 2. 3 home runs already on the season for Hackbarth, and now a line drive down the third baseline and foul. Just about a foot out of play in shallow left. It goes all the way into the corner, but for Hackbarth, it's an 0-1 count. Leonard gets the sign, the right-hander. Freshman delivers the 0-1. High and outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. After this inning, we go to the top of the 6th inning. See what Illinois State opts to do with Leonard. Whether they just want her to pitch. She also has 7 at-bats this season. 1-1, popped up towards the catcher and foul as Boris couldn't find it. Hackbarth took off running toward first base, but it was right behind the catcher Boris. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Leonard has come to the plate 7 times as a hitter this season. She's 0 for 7. And now 1 batter faced thus far. Retired Chapman, and now ahead against Hackbarth. The 1-2 count to the righty hitting catcher. 1-2 pitch to the catcher. High fly ball ripped down the left field line and foul. Just pulled it a little bit too far as looks like the rain has started to come down just a bit once again. Hackbarth has power. We saw that there on the foul ball. Steps back in as the count holds at 1-2. The 1 down, nobody on. 1-2 pitch to Hackbarth. Fouled off towards the ASU dugout. Looked like it went right toward one of the openings in the fence, and looked like it was Jade Gortares who had to, not Jade Gortares, but Yanni Acuna who had to turn out of the way of it. Still 1-2. Hackbarth back in the box. The pitch, a rise ball, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes as the count levels itself. Two balls, 2 strikes, nobody on, 1 down. The Devils lead by just 1. The 2-2. And swung on and missed by Hackbarth. She didn't get a piece of it. The throw down to first base from Boris is in time. And it is the second consecutive strikeout for Mac Leonard here in relief. And now Jade Gortares. If there's someone who's capable of starting a 2-out rally today, it's absolutely the Sun Devil shortstop Gortares. 1 for 1 today, a run scored, a stolen base, and a walk. She was issued a 4-pitch walk from Domkuski in her last plate appearance in the 3rd. The first pitch, fastball, below the knees and inside, 1-0. Gortares, the former baseball player. A .364 hitter on the season. Now a slow ground ball towards the left side and foul. The count 1-1. I just said, Gortares, a .364 hitter. 2 RBIs, 2 stolen bases. Her most recent came in the 2nd inning today. After a base hit to right, stole second, advanced to third on a wild pitch, and then scored. 1-1, way over the glove of the catcher Boris. It's 2-1. Gortares scored the first run of the day for ASU. It came on a 2-run double from Taylor Becerra in the 2nd inning. But that 4-run inning seems like it was quite some time ago. 2-1, ground ball towards the left side. Olsen all the way across the diamond to first base, and the Devils down in order for the first time today. 2 strikeouts from Mac Leonard in her first inning of work, And then the 6-3 put out to retire Jade Gortares. The Devils go down 1-2-3. We go to the top half of the 6th inning. Ellie Weltha, Alyssa Wiebel, and Annie Boris try to follow up a 4-run inning, now trailing 5-4 here in Tempe. Ellie Weltha, Alyssa Wiebel, and Annie Boris in the top half of the 6th inning for Illinois State. After a 4-run 5th inning, the Redbirds right back in the ball game. First pitch to Weltha, low from Cielo Mesa, and the count 1-0. Mesa came in relief of Samantha Mejia last inning, faced one batter. It was Andrea Corsi. She lined out to the shortstop, Gortares. On the inside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now, we mentioned earlier last inning that Illinois State, just by getting 1 across and then 2 across, very easily start to get some momentum for themselves, and that's exactly what they did. 1-1, low and just outside, 2-1. They get a little bit of momentum, and after that they get themselves within 1 run of a top 15 Arizona State program. A 2-1, popped up down the right field line and out of play, 2-2. Rain comes down a little bit once again. Shows bunt, pulls it back. 2-2. Fouled off once again to stay alive. Mesa coming in relief of Mejia, who went 4 2/3 innings, allowing 4 runs all earned on 6 hits. Walking 1, striking out 2, all 4 of those runs in the 5th. 2-2 to Weltha. Fly ball into deep right center field. Hackbarth backtracks and makes the grab on the warning track. Weltha gave it a ride, but it stays in the park and playable for Hackbarth. One down in the top of the 6th, and now Alyssa Wiebel, who started the 4-run 5th inning for Illinois State with a leadoff double and an at-bat that lasted about 4 minutes. Fouls off the first pitch, 0-1. She fouled off 5 straight pitches in that at-bat. Pulled a couple down the left field line. Worked a leadoff double, and then just 4 pitches later, Annie Boris brought her home within the left field double of her own. 0-1. Right over the plate counter looking. 0-2. Wiebel 1 for 2 today. Popped out to short in the 2nd inning. The 0-2 offering from Mesa. High fastball swung on and missed, strike 3. And the first strikeout of the day, the Long Beach State transfer Mesa. And there are 2 down here in the 6th inning. 2 up, 2 down, and now Annie Boris, the catcher. She too 1 for 2 on the day. The first pitch, high and outside, 1-0. That 2-run double in the 5th to bring home Weeble was her first hit of the season. First RBI. 1-0 offering. Right over the plate, no swing, and it's 1-1. One ball, one strike. Nobody on, 2 down in the top of the 6th. The 1-1 popped up over the first base dugout and foul, 1-2. Kayla Santa Cruz continues to warm up in the ASU bullpen. That's the 1-2 to Boris. Fires ball way upstairs, 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 down, nobody on base. A 2-2 pitch to Annie Boris. Fly ball into center field. Howe trots in, called off by the right fielder Hackbarth, and she'll haul it in for the final out of the inning. Redbirds down in order. And for Arizona State, we go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. 3 left-handers in Yanni Acuna, Bella Loomis, and Taylor Becerra upcoming for ASU. The 7, 8, and 9 hitters. When we come back, Devils lead 5-4 here in the desert. Mac Leonard remains in the circle for Illinois State after sending the Sun Devils down in order in the bottom of the 5th. And now she'll face off with 3 lefties, the 7, 8, and 9 hitters in the ASU order, and Yanni Acuna, Bella Loomis, and Taylor Becerra. First pitch to Acuna, high and inside, 1-0. The freshman Mac Leonard, in 4th outing of the season. Nice velocity so far through her first 3 hitters. 1-0 to Acuna. She fouls it off out of play down the left field line. 1 ball and 1 strike. Acuna, a .385 hitter the first 5 games. 0 for 1 today with a walk and a run scored. That was back in the 2nd inning. It's a lefty hitter out of Tucson. The 1-1 ground ball through the 3-4 gap into right field for a base hit. And now it skips past the right fielder, Hale. She'll round second base on her way to third. Acuna in with a base hit and an error by the right fielder that allows her to go from first to third. And the leadoff hitter already in scoring position for ASU. It's the 2nd time today that an outfielder has lost the ball off of the hop. Earlier in the 2nd inning, or rather In the fourth inning, it was Taylor Becerra with a base hit into center. The ball skipped away from the center fielder, Wiebelin, all the way to the wall. Here, in the sixth inning, Acuna with a base hit through the gap and into right field that the right fielder Hale couldn't get to. And now Loomis comes to the plate 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. And Yanni Acuna already in scoring position on third. First pitch, fastball low and away, 1-0. Some insurance runs for ASU would be ideal for the Devils pitching staff, whether they continue to go with Cielo Meza or toss Michaela Santa Cruz, the freshman, in there for the seventh inning. 1-0 to Loomis. On the outside corner, 1-1. Corner infielders are in. Middle infielders essentially even with the bag. 1-1. Chop foul towards the Illinois State dugout, 1-2. Loomis with the walk and the run scored in the second inning. She was the third run to come across in the second for ASU. And a fly out to center field in the fourth inning. It's the leadoff hitter. And now a runner on third, nobody out. 1-2 to the second baseman. Outside, 2-2. And again, it looks like the dirt in the circle getting a little bit muddy, and Leonard's going to have it cleaned off. That's the third pitcher today we've seen for Illinois State. And a little bit of help with the cleats. So rain's starting to come down once again. Infield dirt doesn't look too bad either, especially for the wetness and the game. The 2-2. Low, the Illinois State fans thought that was strike three. Instead, it's a full count for the second baseman, Bella Loomis. Runner on third, the 3-2 offering to Loomis. Inside, she fouled it off her leg to stay alive. The count 3-2. But Loomis will kind of limp down the first baseline. Trying to walk off that foul ball a little bit. The Sun Devils threatening here in the bottom of the sixth inning. These two teams traded 4-run innings today. The Devils in the second, Illinois State in the fifth. Loomis back in. Cunha on third, the 3-2. High for ball 4, and that puts runners on the corners for Taylor Becerra, who is 2 for 2 today. Becerra with a 2-run base hit to get the scoring started for ASU in the second. Now a ground ball towards the second baseman. The only plays to first base. They'll get Becerra, but she will bring home her third RBI of the day, and Acuna will score from third base. It's 6-4 Sun Devils in the sixth inning. Loomis advances to second base in the process. Becerra down on the throw out from short. Brings home her third RBI of the day, her third RBI of the season. Becerra into second, and now back to the top of the order. The lefty swinging right fielder, Kendra Hackbarth. Hackbarth 2 for 3 with a pair of RBIs. Laying down the bunt, pulled it back, but fastball good for strike one anyway. Skylar McCarty waits on deck, and after her, if we get that far, Morgan Howe. 0-1 with one down, a run already across in the form of Acuna, and Loomis on second base. 0-1 to Hackbarth. High and outside, skipped off the glove of the catcher, Boris, but Loomis will go nowhere. 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1, foul tipped into the glove, 1 ball and 2 strikes. If Leonard and the Redbirds can get out of the 6th inning without succumbing to any more damage from the Sun Devils offense, still be within range, and a swing and a miss from Hackbarth. The throw down to first base in time, back over to third base, and Loomis swipes the bag effectively. Hackbarth out on the strikeout. Let's see, 3rd strikeout of the outing for Mac Leonard. But the throw down to first base allows Loomis to advance to 3rd. And now Skylar McCarty comes to the plate 0 for 3 today. Then RBI. And Illinois State will call timeout to chat things over. And Coach Melinda Fisher out into the circle to chat with Mac Leonard and her catcher. Our 34th season with the Redbirds, for an overall record of 1,033, 761, and 4 in 33 years as the head coach at Illinois State. Facing off with a relatively new head coach in Tricia Ford for ASU. It's just her 3rd season with the Devils. Pac-12 Coach of the Year last year, and a Devils Ultimate World Series loss. McCarty steps in with a runner on 3rd. First pitch to McCarty. Line drive out of play with the third base dugout. 0-1. McCarty entered the game with the best batting average under the Sun Devils dugout. .538, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. A 7th after the 2nd inning today. Loomis on 3rd, and now McCarty will step out and back into the lefty hitter's box. The 0-1 from Leonard. Fastball inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. 6-4 Devils here in the later innings at Farrington Stadium in Tempe. Another insurance run would be ideal for the maroon and gold. 1-1. High and outside, 2 balls and a strike. If Leonard can get out of this inning without surrendering any more runs, Illinois State will come to the plate with Vanderpool, the number 9 hitter, and then the top of the order, trailing by just a pair. 2-1 to McCarty, fouled off again, and it's 2-2. 2 runs seems extremely reasonable for Illinois State heading into the 7th inning, especially after that 4-run 5th. 2-2 to McCarty. Ground ball to the second baseman. Vanderpool, she lost it and into right field. Loomis will score from 3rd, and McCarty into first base with ease. And that brings home 1 more. The Devils lead it 7-4 here in the 6th inning. And some insurance runs for the Sun Devil pitchers. And now Morgan Howe comes to the plate with 2 down. Howe in her 2nd season with the Sun Devils. I'll score that. A base hit for Skylar McCarty. Loomis scores, but it's unearned. High fly ball into left center field. Weeble tracks it all the way to the wall. Morgan Howe will head into second base, a play at the plate, but McCarty scores now down to 3rd, and Morgan Howe slides in safely. Morgan Howe back on the score sheet again, her first hit of the day. She brings home a run, and the Devils lead it 8-4 here in the 6th inning. It'll be a double for Morgan Howe. She advances to 3rd base on the throw. She'll bring home the run. McCarty scores from 1st, and it's 8-4 Devils here in the 6th inning. And now Danae Chapman. Chapman steps in 0 for 3 today with a pair of strikeouts. Takes the first pitch. It squeaks past the catcher, and Morgan Howe will come home and score. Within 2 pitches, it went from 7-4 to 9-4 as Howe doubled and brought home a run and then scores on a passed ball. And the count 1-0 to Chapman. And Morgan Howe just manufactured 2 runs for ASU in a matter of 2 pitches. It's Chapman, the right-handed slugger, steps back in, the first baseman. 1-0 pitch outside, 2-0. For Morgan Howe, she went to Fresno State initially to play under head coach Tricia Ford. Ford then left to go to ASU, and Morgan Howe followed her. 2-0 to Chapman, line drive up the middle for a base hit. It's a 2-out base knock for Danae Chapman. That brings up Maddie Hackbarth with a runner on first and 2 down. Maddie Hackbarth was at least supposed to come up, and it looks like she still will, but maybe a pinch runner for ASU, and that is exactly what we'll see. For ASU, it looks like Olivia Miller will come into pinch run for Danae Chapman. And now a chant at the mound as things have started to unravel for Illinois State here in the 6th inning. It's another 4-run inning for Arizona State. Morgan Howe brings home a couple more. It was revealed on Monday after an article that came out from House of Sparky's Brady Vernon that Morgan Howe followed Tricia Ford to ASU and was a walk-on last year. She walked away from a scholarship at Fresno State to be a walk-on at ASU and play with 2 other Fresno State transfers in Kendra and Maddie Hackbarth to follow their former coach to the desert. After a second-team Pac-12 honor last season, worked her way back to a scholarship here in her 2nd year in the desert. Fastball in on the knees to Maddie Hackbarth, and it's 1-0. Hackbarth 0 for 3 today, but a .438 hitter on the season. 3 home runs, already 10 RBIs for the catcher. 1-0, ground ball, foul down the third baseline, 1-1. Four runs on 3 hits this inning for ASU. Make that 4 hits. 9 runs on 8 for the day for the Devils. 1-1 to Maddie Hackbarth. Inside, the runner goes. The throw down to second base looked like the ball slipped out of the hand of the catcher, Boris. And Olivia Miller swipes second base, her first stolen base of the year. And ASU's 5th on the season. Two balls and a strike to Maddie Hackbarth. Two-1. Upstairs, 3 balls and a strike. Mac Leonard looked really good against the 3 batters she faced in the 5th, but now the Devils are starting to catch up to that fastball of the freshman. Miller in scoring position, the 3-1. Hackbarth chops one foul down the third baseline. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Gortares waits on deck if we get that far. The Devils have brought home 4 more. Their second 4-run inning of the ball game. After 4 in the 2nd, 1 in the 4th, and now 4 again in the 6th. 2 down, a runner on second, the 3-2. Hackbarth, another foul ball down the third baseline. In the top of the 7th inning for Illinois State, Taylor Vanderpool, Shannon Feldy, Riley Hale, the 9-1 and 2 hitters, but now trailing not by 1 anymore, but now by 5. Payoff pitch to Hackbarth. Line drive back towards the ASU dugout. A couple players back out of the way of it, off the mesh netting, and then deflects to foul territory down the left field line. The count still 3-2. Three-two pitch, high and outside. Hackbarth aboard for the first time today on a 2-out walk that puts runners on first and second for Jade Gortares. It's a second walk issued by Leonard. Now Gortares comes to the plate. It looks like ASU might send in one more pinch hitter. Gortares is the ninth batter, or pinch runner rather. Gortares is the ninth batter of the inning. And for ASU, McKenna Harper will come into pinch run at first base for Maddie Hackbarth. Gortares comes to the plate, 1 for 2 today. The run, a stolen base, and a walk. She bounced out to the shortstop in a 1-2-3 inning for ASU in the 5th. Olivia Miller, the pinch runner, on second. Harper on first. Ground ball towards the third baseman, just underneath the glove, and everybody's safe. Looked like the ball kind of died right when it made contact with Andrea Corsi's glove, and then just slipped right underneath. Gortares aboard, and the Devils have batted around here in the 6th inning. As a leadoff hitter, Yanni Acuna comes to the plate. 1 for 2 today with 2 runs scored. And the base is loaded and 2 down. The first pitch on the inside corner, 0-1. That'll be scored, an error on the third baseman. That brings Harper into second, Miller into third. Gortares idles at first base, reaching for the 3rd time today, and now popped up into shallow left field. The shortstop, Olsen, backtracks and makes the grab. The inning finally over for Illinois State, but not before ASU brings home 4 runs on 5 hits with 1 error, and they strand the bases loaded in the 6th inning. But insurance runs for Cielo Meza, and ASU leads by 5 heading into the 7th inning at Farrington Stadium in Tempe in the first game of the 2019 Littlewood Classic. 7th inning when we come back here on Pac-12 Plus. Top of the 7th inning here at Farrington Stadium in Tempe. 9-1-2 for Illinois State. Taylor Vanderpool, Shannon Feldy, and Riley Hale. As instead of entering the 7th down by just 1, the Devils end up plating 4 in the 6th to send the Redbirds down by 5 at the start of the 7th. And Cielo Meza starts off Vanderpool, the ball, in the count 1-0. Vanderpool 0 for 2 today, a 100 hitter on the season. Pop out to short in the 3rd and a fly out to left field in the 5th. Mazes looks pretty good in relief. 1-2, or the 1-0 rather. 2-0. High and inside off-speed pitch. The 4 Redbirds that have faced off with Meza have all been retired. Corsi in the 5th, and then Weltha, Wiebel, and Boris in the 6th. 2 balls and no strikes. Transfer from Long Beach State in the circle, the 2-0. Finds the strike zone, 2-1. No defensive changes for ASU after a couple pinch runners. Chapman goes back to first base, and Matty Hackbarth back behind the plate. 2-1. This ball on the outside corner, count levels 2 balls and 2 strikes. A 5-run cushion for Meza here in the 7th. The 2-2 off speed upstairs. And the count full to Vanderpool. Trying to reach for the first time today. Trying to give Illinois State their 3rd leadoff base runner of the game. (3-2) for Meza. Fly ball that's popped up and out of play. The bleachers off to our left. The count holds 3-2. Feldy waits on deck. Now the 3-2 to the second baseman, Vanderpool. Low and inside for ball 4. Leadoff hitter aboard. With the quick Vanderpool on first. And now Feldy comes to the plate. 2 for 3 today. Reached on an error in the 1st inning and then hits in her last 2 at-bats. Base hit to left field in the 3rd, base hit to right field in the 5th. She came around to score the 3rd run of that 4-run 5th. Takes a strike to start off the at-bat, down 0-1. 9 runs on 9 hits for ASU. 4 on 6 for Illinois State. The 0-1 pitch to Feldy. On the inside corner, 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes with Vanderpool on first. Corners of the infield in, the 0-2. Ground ball past the dive of Gortar as the shortstop and into left field. Feldy aboard for the 4th time today. She's 3 for 4 on the afternoon. Vanderpool into second, and now Riley Hale. First walk and hit issued by Meza today, coming to the 5th and 6th hitter she's faced. First offering to Hale, low and away for ball 1. Illinois State has been outscored through their first 5 games. A total score of 47-15, and although they're trailing by 5 here in the 7th inning, they've had some bright spots throughout the course of the game. 2-0 to Hale. Obviously what stands out is their 4-run 5th inning, scoring 4 runs on 5 hits, finally getting to Samantha Mejia. and chasing her from the game after 4 2/3. 2-0 from Meza. This is low and away, 3 balls and no strikes. And Hackbarth will call timeout to talk with her right-handed arm Meza. I guess for the most part with Illinois State, it seems to be consistency. They were able to figure out ways to get on base early with a couple players reaching off of errors, and Feldy and Corsi got their first hit in the 3rd inning, and now a 4-pitch walk issued to Riley Hale. She reaches base on a walk for the 2nd time today, and it's the 2nd walk of the inning issued by Cielo Meza. And now the bases are loaded for Emmy Olson on an RBI base hit in that 4-run 5th inning. And it looks like the Devils will go ahead and make a pitching change here in the top of the 7th inning. We'd said that a couple runs seemed reasonable for Illinois State, but maybe 5 runs giving ASU a nice cushion. But the base is loaded for Emmy Olson. She's got a home run and 2 RBIs so far this season, including today. So anything can change with one swing of the bat. Pitching change as Michaela Santa Cruz comes in. Bases loaded and nobody out when we come back. 9-4 Sun Devils here in Game 1 of the Littlewood Classic. Michaela Santa Cruz comes in to relieve Cielo Meza here in the top of the 7th inning. The bases loaded with nobody out, and Emmy Olson digs in. Takes a fastball on the outside corner, 0-1. Pitching line open for Meza as it sits right now after 2 walks and a base hit allowed this inning to load the bases. Santa Cruz, the right-hander, enters the game. The 0-1. Upstairs, 1 ball and 1 strike. Santa Cruz, another Sun Devil freshman from Tucson, went to Canyon del Oro High School. She's already appeared in 2 games so far this season. Against Missouri on the 8th and Kansas on the 9th for 3 full innings of work. 1-1, high fly ball into the gap in left center field, but McCarty tracks it in. They try to double off the runner at second base and cannot do so. Olson, they sacrifice fly. That brings home Vanderpool. Now Redbirds get 1 more on the board. They go over to the 3rd baseman, Becerra. She steps on the bag trying to say that Vanderpool left early, but the home plate umpire, Tracy Hart, thinks otherwise. As it sits right now, 9-5 Sun Devils after Vanderpool tags up and scores from 3rd. 1 run comes in. Feldy remains at 2nd. Kenzie Pence, the pinch runner at first base for Riley Hale, she has to hold up at first. Emmy Olson brings home 1, and now Allison Spence. 1 for 3 on the day with a 2-run double to right field in the 5th. The first pitch no good, 1-0. The Redbirds back within 4. Pushed 1 across here in the 7th inning. They have a 4-run inning of their own back in the 5th. 1-0 inside. Hit Spence on the elbow and deflected off the elbow pad, and she'll trot down to first base. And now the bases loaded once again, and now Andrea Corsi comes to the plate. And despite being 0 for 3 today, she's reached on an error, but leads the Redbirds with a .417 batting average. Not necessarily the hitter you want to see come to the plate in this situation if you're the freshman Michaela Santa Cruz. On the hit by pitch, Spence to first, Kenzie Pence the pinch runner into second, Shannon Feldy into third, but a pinch runner over on first base will come in for Andrea Corsi. Katie Boris comes in to pinch run. Now Corsi at the plate, first pitch high and in, 1 ball and no strikes. With only 1 down here in the top of the 7th inning, the bases loaded once again. And the consistent bat of Andrea Corsi at the plate. (1-0). Bit inside, 2-0. Two pinch runners in the inning. It's Kenzie Pence on second, Katie Boris on first. The lead runner, Feldy, at third. The 2-0. This one's good for a strike, 2 balls and 1 strike to Andrea Corsi. She's 0 for 3 today, reached on an error in the 2nd inning, but didn't advance past first base after Weltha and Wiebel were retired behind her. She grounded out in the 4th, lined out to short in the 5th. 2-1 pitch on the outside corner, and suddenly they count 2-2. (9-5) Sun Devils here at Farrington Stadium in Tempe. The Redbirds threatening, looking for their first win of the season. The 2-2. Check swing low, point down to the first base umpire. And Geraldine McGuire sends the arm, saying that she didn't go all the way around, and it's 3-2. Three balls, 2 strikes. Santa Cruz delivers. Nub towards the shortstop, into center field for a base hit. Feldy scores, but Kenzie Pence will have to stop at third base. The bases remain loaded. But Andrea Corsi with her first hit of the day, her 3rd RBI of the season, brings home 1 more. And it's 9-6 Sun Devils here at Farrington. Feldy scores the 2nd run of the inning for Illinois State. Pence into 3rd, Boris into 2nd, Corsi at first after the 1-out RBI base knock. And now Ellie Weltha at the plate, who's 0 for 3. Santa Cruz back into the circle, winds and fires, first pitch. Upstairs, 1 ball and no strikes. Keep in mind, Cielo Meza's line still open after she loaded the bases. Santa Cruz came in relief. The 1-0, fastball on the outside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike. Top of the 7th inning here in Tempe. Illinois State looking for their first win of the season. Still trailing by 3, but the bases loaded for Ellie Weltha. 1-1 on the outside corner, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Weltha 0 for 13 on the season. Well, what an opportunity for her to get her first hit of the year here in the 7th inning against a top 15 ASU team with the bases loaded. 1-2 on the outside corner, strike 3 called. Weltha down looking for the 2nd time today, and there's 2 down here in the top of the 7th inning for Alyssa Wiebel. Santa Cruz with a massive strikeout for the 2nd out of the inning. And now Wiebel takes ball 1. The bases remain loaded. Kenzie Pence, the pinch runner, on 3rd. Katie Boris, the pinch runner, on 2nd. And Andrea Corsi, after the RBI base knock, idles on 1st. Wiebel 1 for 3 today, a .167 hitter. to the first 5 games. It's a 1-0. Fastball on the inside corner, 1-1. Nine-6 Sun Devils in the top of the 7th inning. Both teams with 8 hits. The 1-1. Fastball high and away. 2 balls and a strike to the center fielder, Wiebel. She kicked off that 4-run 5th inning with a leadoff double down the left field line. Was brought home just 4 pitches later by Annie Boris. Bases loaded, 2-1. Breaking ball low, 3 balls and a strike. Santa Cruz checks towards the dugout. Checks the wristband and then back into the center of the circle. Wiebel at the plate awaiting the 3-1. Illinois State threatening, and Santa Cruz in danger of walking in one more. 9-6 the score as it stands now. The 3-1. Right over the plate, no swing from Wiebel, and the count is full once again. It's the 3rd full count of the inning, just the 2nd issued by Santa Cruz. Last one 2 batters ago when Andrea Corsi punched an RBI base hit into center. The 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Santa Cruz with the fist bump, and that will end the inning. And the Sun Devils win it here at Farrington Stadium in Tempe by a final score of 9-6. Illinois State brings home 2 runs in the 7th inning on 2 hits, but they leave the bases loaded, and the Sun